question is about vetting a sub to move in with you. How do you properly vet a sub before moving them in with you? What kind of escape mechanisms work well for both parties? If the sub realizes the situation isn't working out or the dom needs to kick the sub out, let's assume everyone is acting in good faith and not worrying about deceitful or abusive situations. Just some strategies for ease of mind when initiating a move-in or a DS dynamic. So, here's what I'm seeing right off the bat with this question. It's like the strategies for ease of mind in this question seem to include or be defined as escape mechanisms. As we've already said, act in good faith, nothing abusive. How do I vet? And then it goes to what if things don't work out? How can we escape the situation? So I think really that is a telltale sign that you might not be feeling fully ready or safe to invite the submissive in. Like if you are going, what is my escape mechanisms here? And that escape mechanism is going to be my ease of mind. There's something going on within you that's going, this might not work out. And I'm kind of already seeing that panning out a little bit. That's kind of what my wisdom and intuition is telling me here. As far as the specific question about escape mechanisms, I think that that's a really telling condition of how we view relationships and cancel culture now. It's escape mechanism when you're talking about a human being with whom you have a relationship with enough to consider inviting them into your home. And then we're talking about escape mechanisms. My point in bringing this up is going, to me, it's not about an escape mechanism. If it's very conflict avoidant, yeah, but really, it's not about escape mechanism. It's about if it's not working out, your escape mechanism should just be healthy and respectful communication and reevaluate the situation. Like, if you're asking for what's an escape mechanism for me to just be able to like go no contact or peace out or create this distance all of a sudden if it's not working out, I understand that could bring you some peace of mind, but I think you need to start with you're already having these concerns a little bit. How do we navigate this so that we don't ruin our friendship? Well, at no point was the word friend or friendship even mentioned here. So if that's it, how do we navigate this so that we don't ruin our friendship? Well, you might very well ruin your friendship by going down this path. Is it worth the risk? But the question said nothing about friend or friendship. And I'm seeing very clearly, it's saying properly vet a sub before moving them in with you. The language is very possessive, very DS. The sub, not my sub. It's like we're already seeing maybe some red flags or we already have some concerns. And that's where I would kind of push back on you a little bit here, Ovid, is if you're already going there, and I think that's wise to go, okay, I'm inviting someone into my home. How can I get them out of my home if it doesn't work out? I think if you are already identifying this is good faith, no deceit or abusive situations, then really you have to trust that that's true of the submissive. And then they're not going to try to fuck you over if it isn't working out and you do have to communicate, you do have to reestablish a new boundary, and that space does need to be taken. But right now, it doesn't sound like you can trust the submissive to not fly off the handle if a separation needs to take place. So that's number one. I think what Slutboy is saying is 100% wise. Like, what's the rush? If you have some concerns, if you have some hesitations, if you're seeing some red flags, What's the rush? Take your time. And maybe that's part of your vetting process here. How do you properly vet a sub before moving them in? Well, how long have you known the sub? If you've only known the sub for 3 weeks, then properly vetting the sub in my purview would be hold up, get to know that sub for a while, watch their patterns for a while. Like, patterns don't lie, but you have to spend enough time with someone to see what their patterns are. It all depends. I think, yeah, of course, the structure of the dynamic or relationship does have different variables, but really, I think the advice that I'm illustrating, the principle I'm illustrating, applies to any and all of those situations, really. If you're feeling like I'm inviting them in, but I want to plan an escape route, should you really be inviting them in? You see what I'm saying? So I would really just push back on you. Like, has there been enough time? Do you know what you need to know about the submissive to feel safe inviting them into your home? And do you feel safe if you need to get them out, them not to go crazy on you? Have you built that level of trust? Have they built that level of trust with you as the dominant? So I think all of these are really good factors, really good variables here, stuff to consider. And, I think you can try that out. I think a sleepover once or twice or something it wouldn't hurt. But then again, you can still kind of be on best behavior kind of thing. There is a shift that happens when that submissive comes into your home and is like, oh, this is my space too now, versus I'm just a guest staying overnight. The mentality shift can be very, very substantial. So, yeah, put yourselves in stressful situations. Absolutely. Take a road trip, things like that really show how is this submissive. How do they act under pressure? How do they act when they don't get their way? How do they act when you have to set a boundary that they may not like? Maybe some of these are the things that you really need to get some assurance on before you invite the submissive into your home, because that's a big deal. Your home, that's your sacred space. That is your sacred space. That's your sacred energy. All right. And so if you can see who they really are at their worst, not just when they want to be pleasing, that's going to be a very wise thing. Road trip in an uncomfortable bed and no snacks and no potty breaks. Wow. We get really sadistic with this test up in here. Or build a piece of IKEA furniture together. That'll preach. That'll preach. You know what? You want to know if they're a winner or not? Don't go out on a second or third date. Buy some IKEA furniture, invite them over to your house. If y'all still like each other and don't want to kill each other and you have operational furniture at the end of it, you know what? We might want to keep going. We might want to keep talking.